So, what is spiritual depression and how can you get over it? Do you know if you have it or not? If you don't know, maybe this video will help you out, but it's also important to know not to keep believing that you do have it if you do feel some of these symptoms, because that would just train your mind to believe it more and more. And as you know, during this spiritual awakening process, you kind of have to untrain your old ways of thinking, and that's where we start off. So the reason that you might feel depressed, there's a lot of reasons. It's not necessarily like normal depression, which you might have had and likely were in some form of that before your spiritual awakening if you've had one. It's also really cold outside, sorry. But your ego is what you've been letting go of. You've been letting go of that ego that has been holding you back, and the ego is who you think you are, the physical body, the person that wants money, that wants fame, that cares about only themselves. But when you have a spiritual awakening, you realize that you want to help the collective. You want to help everyone realize that they're one. You want to help spread love. But along the way, when you first discover this stuff, it's like, oh my gosh, I've got to tell everyone. And some people do, some people don't. I mean, I like to keep things to myself, but I've realized in the little bits I do tell to people, depending on the person, most people do not really want to hear that. They don't like to hear this kind of stuff about being multidimensional, being able to create your own reality, because they're so trained and conditioned into this illusion that they don't even want to hear that. And it's kind of sad. So you just want to be able to tell people, and this can make you feel depressed, because if you don't have anyone around you that you can vent these thoughts to, that's one of the reasons I started YouTube, is because it's hard to really describe these things to people without them thinking you're crazy and maybe not wanting to talk to you, or I don't know how bad it could be, because I don't necessarily go into great detail, but I want to go into detail with this about a lot, like with all my friends and a lot of people, but I know that they wouldn't really be receptive to a lot of this stuff, but eventually they will. Anyways, you might not know why you're upset sometimes as well. It just kind of comes up. It's just random things. You had like a really great high on your spiritual awakening, just a breakthrough, whatever it may be, where you figured out that you can do something, or something manifested for you, or whatever it may be. And then the next day, you felt so connected, like you had all the answers to everything. This happens to me a lot. And then the next day I'll just feel like, oh gosh, like the ego will kick in. It'll make you think like, is any of this really true? But like you were connected with your higher self. Your mind wasn't doing the thinking. You were really just feeling stuff from the heart. And sometimes you can begin to doubt yourself when you get around other people, other influences that aren't connected and are at a lower vibration. They'll try and drag you down. They won't necessarily try to drag you down. It's just something that naturally happens. And so another thing that might upset you when you go through a spiritual awakening that can give you this spiritual depression is you don't connect with the old activities you did, or old habits maybe. It just doesn't excite you the way it used to. And what really excites you is a whole new things, like you just want to learn about spirituality possibly, or just even if it's nothing to do with this, it could just be you have new hobbies that you want to try out, and people think like, what's going on with you, or something like that. But I don't know, pretty sure someone just went by on a bike. I don't know. Did you guys see it in the background? Maybe something's talking to me. For example, if you feel tired and you wake up tired, It's probably because you've been going through a lot of these energy surges almost. It's like just a rush of great energy where you're connected to your higher self. And that's too much to take in at one time, especially when you're new to it. So eventually you're going to just tire out and be drained from that. And if you feel like you're trying to take action towards your vision, but you're not getting anywhere, it's almost like you're at a place right now where you had some success towards your vision or whatever you were trying to do. And then now it's like almost at a little bit of a halt and you're just confused about where to go next. But this is all part of the process. So just take everything that you hear, everything that you see, and use it as information, because everything is happening to you for a reason. Everything's happening for you, for all of us at one time. We all, unaware of what we're doing, some of us, are all doing things for a bigger reason. And don't make yourself feel bad about doing this. Don't make yourself feel bad or let other people bring you down and discourage you from being who you truly are, because they don't know who they truly are. And if you're doing it for the right reasons, you don't want to have an ego about it and think you're above them. You want to bring them with you, but you can't force it on them. Just keep raising your vibration, being who you truly are, and then eventually they will come along. There's nothing that we can do to force these people to do it. Depending on who it is, eventually they will probably come along. But if they don't, it just wasn't meant to be. And just make sure that you know that you're not alone on this path of spiritual depression. And I'm going through it as well. Even though I have a channel giving advice, I can still be down. Lots of people that make videos about this, they don't have perfect days every day. We're all equal. No one's above you. We have to come together during this time and let each other know to keep going, and don't give up on this, because it's easy to give into the ego and give up and just go back to what was comfortable sometimes. But I mean, once you get too far into it and you see the other side, you don't want to go back to your ego. You don't want to go back to that old person. So in the words of John Lennon, many people, will come at you. And if you want to listen to the song Imagine by John Lennon, that would give you probably a boost in confidence if you've never heard it. You probably have if you're watching this kind of thing, but a lot of people may say you're a dreamer, but you're not the only one. And that's the main point, to realize that you're not the only one that has this dream. And it's not a dream, because many people are coming through in this QTCC, I believe it's called, hypnosis, that I've been reading Dolores Cannon's book, The 3 Waves of Volunteers, and I'll be talking more about that. And watching Alba Weinman's YouTube channel, it's got great hypnosis where people's higher selves and the council of people and all these crazy light bodies, we were incarnating as rocks, as other beings, all this crazy stuff. And thousands of people are all saying that it's a special time on Earth. All these people from all these different lifetimes that come through are saying it's a special time on Earth right now. We have a mission to do. We're going to 5D, and the whole universe is watching us to see if we can do it. So are we going to let them down? Or are we going to come together and do this? Because this is the greatest show in the history of the universe, and we are here right now. We can be some of the biggest influences in the history of this planet. And people just don't realize what they're doing. Some people are raising the vibration of this planet without even knowing it. The kids that are being born are doing it. Many adults are doing it just by helping people. They don't even know. So just make sure to realize that you're not alone, and you can do this. It's time. It's really time. Because what's holding you back today? There's people that don't have access to this information. There's people that might not even have anywhere to go connect with nature, or have a family that would allow them to express themselves or be able to do what they want. So you've just got to make the most of what you've got and realize that you chose that on a deeper level in a soul contract for a reason. All these experiences you've chosen on a deeper level for a reason. And if you realize that everything bad that happens to you is an opportunity to grow, you can turn it around into something great. So you don't have to be down and depressed about this. This is something good, because when you come out of spiritual depression, do you realize what's on the other side? Do you realize what's on the other side? It's going to be amazing. And even though it's not, don't think you're in spiritual depression. I like to think of it more as just spiritual growth purges, where you just have moments or weeks, depends on the person, but you just have moments where you're down. But if you just keep going and know your purpose, even if you don't know your purpose, you do know that you have one purpose here, which is to love above all else. So it makes you feel like you almost made a mistake doing this sometimes, and your ego can really make you feel down in the dumps and feel like it's not going to work. But if you have faith and have signs in your higher self, it will show you that, like, you can get a lot of synchronicity and numbers and a lot of things that will remind you that you're doing the right thing. And I have those all the time. That's why I'm continuing to do this, because I honestly feel so good making these videos. And that's the main thing. Do what makes you feel good and what you're passionate about. And even if you have doubts about it, just keep going, because this is part of growing your soul and growing into a better version of yourself. The dark night of the soul, which is what we're going through, is preparing us for better things. And it could be like, for me, it tends to be like smaller increments of a bigger plan. It's not like every day I'm feeling down, but then randomly I will, or old emotions will come up from who knows where. These things are purging out of us. They're coming out of us to make us the person that we truly are, so we can really find who we truly are. But if we have all these blockages, we can't. And being alone right now, if you're someone that's alone, and a lot of people in your life have been going away, there's probably a reason for that. You need to be alone for personal growth. That's really important, to be alone, to be able to grow as a person. Because if you're always being influenced by others who are not on the spiritual path, and you don't know who you truly are, then you'll be influenced by those people like you probably were in the past. And that probably sent you down the road in a weird way. Your higher self has been planning all this for you, and it kind of knew that it would lead you to this video, or this spiritual path. So you might not know exactly where you're going, but you're going somewhere. So be you today, be happy, spread love. R.I.P. Kobe Bryant. Love you, buddy. See ya.